that girl, she flawless. She ain't like nobody else. I just love how she talking. I am Courtney Michelle, here to open your mind up. Keep it so interesting. Time to be a subscriber. So intellectual and sexy. Hey, Courtney Michelle, let's go.
What is good, family? This is your girl. I am Courtney Michelle. Thank you for joining me this evening on this Monday for another live stream. You guys know I've been doing kind of these interviews one-on-one, and I'm super excited about what I have going on tonight. You guys have seen the thumbnail. It is the one, the only, the one that has been talked about, good things, some interesting things, some not so good things. We're going to talk about it all tonight. It is Austin Holloman. I am super excited. I'm going to welcome everybody coming in. I see you, TJ. I see you, Eugene. Thank you so much. Now, you guys know that I have definitely got some ringing going on. I've definitely been doing this, not necessarily passport things, but been in conversations with Zoom to Thailand. I've been in conversations with one master teacher, and I have learned a lot about the passport bros. And I want to have this conversation tonight because this man has been shining through, has a lot to say, doesn't hold back anything. So I have some questions for him. So without further ado, let's bring up the one and the only Austin. What's going on?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am doing excellent.
I feel like we're so close all up on the screen. Let's get us back a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So I thank you so much for joining me tonight. I do want to have a great conversation. I think that this dialogue, of course, with an American Black woman is going to be good because you have a lot to say about us.
Mm-hmm. Not about Black women in particular,
but Western women. Yeah. Okay. So we'll get in it. So the first thing that I want to know, I know that you are from Texas. You're in the Dallas area.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about you and growing up in your childhood.
I was born in Fort Worth, Texas. I grew up in Arlington, Texas. I had a single mother household, but I know my father very well to this day. I basically had a two-parent household. My dad just did not live in the same house, and my parents did not get along very well. Some people would say I had trauma growing up. I don't think I'm capable of gaining too much trauma. Trauma is not, I just don't think that I can get trauma. I'm a college dropout as well.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. So let's talk about that. So you went to college because I know you're a barber now. So what happened? How was that transition? You went to college for what? And you decided this was not for me?
I went to college to get out of my mom's house.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I went.
Okay. And then you thought college was not for you, and then you went into cutting hair.
It wasn't for me, and I started cutting hair in college to the point where I stopped doing schoolwork. So I dropped out of college and went to barber school, and that was the best decision I ever made. And then speaking out against American women was my second best decision. I think it's actually the best decision. Actually, the second one is.
Okay. Well, we're going to get all into that. So you mentioned your mom and you wanting to get out of her house. And then, of course, growing up, you had your dad there, but then also your mom. Now, I've heard you on a couple of streams talk a little bit about your mom. How was she growing up?
I would say that my mother was traditional. That's why I have those traditional demands now. But when her and my father separated, she became, I'd say, 75% modern woman.
Okay.
So she had those masculine traits still to this day. And that's where I get a lot of my talking points from. And it's not that I just base them just off her. I just watched it growing up, and then I compared and contrasted to what I seen around me. And I seen that it's a lot of women that behave that same way.
Yeah. So you saw that in your mom. Have you ever had those conversations with your mom and asking her, Mom, coming off a little masculine like dad, like what's going on? Have you had those in-depth conversations with your mother?
Uh, you can't. You can't really tell her anything. So I've tried.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't get anywhere. So I'm done trying.
Are you guys close?
Yes, but I'm done trying.
Okay. You have siblings?
I have, I think I have 5 siblings. So let's see.
Where do you rank into that?
I'm the only one that doesn't have a matching age. So my dad has uh my dad has 5 baby mamas, so and 4 of them were pregnant. No, 3 of them were pregnant at the same time. So
Papa
yeah,
was a Rolling Stone.
3 of them were pregnant at the same time. So 5, yeah.
Okay. Well, Austin, this is okay. So, with your mom and your dad and your siblings, are you close to your siblings?
Uh, 3 of them I am not. 2 of them I am.
Okay.
So one of them I'd say halfway close, but we don't speak that much anymore. So you asking some better questions.
Yeah.
I'm tired of answering the same questions. These are different questions you're asking. Thank you.
Well, I try to care and try to see where you are coming from. And I think a lot of times when we get in these conversations, no one tries to figure out the whys or who you are, because your ideas is going to come from the man that you are. So I appreciate that. So I don't want to continue on with like your mom. So I definitely understand that. And I hear that a lot with Black men, that of course the first woman in their life, the Black woman, is their mother. So a lot of the ideas that they get is from their mom. And you would agree to that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, but your dad and the kids, what ideas do you have as far as with that, with being a Black man?
Wait, you talking about like how he has a bunch of different mothers?
Well, a
Uh,
lot of baby mamas.
yeah. What do I think about that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was my first step to knowing that about the whole high value man talk. Just proved everything Kevin Samuels used to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I heard him say in an interview one time that women would rather be 7 of one than 1 of a plumber, and that I'm a child that shows that.
Yeah. Your dad high value?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, we probably will piggyback around that. So you went to barber school, became a barber, and I know on your videos you had a lot about that, and also being a 6-figure barber, and you were doing that on YouTube and on TikTok.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden, you did a TikTok about being done with women and going overseas.
Uh, I think the first one. Well, I guess you could say that. Yeah. Yeah. It was like it. The video was about it ruining dating, and then I had another viral video about being done completely. Yes.
Okay. Where did that come from?
Well, I got fed up. I've been fed up since 2020, and 2021 I tried to make it. First 2020, I thought something was wrong with me, so I was kind of crazy the whole 2020. Thought something was wrong with me. In 2021, it got a little better. I tried to make it work, but it was still just BS to me. Still wasn't getting the results I thought. So then, by August 2021, I had pretty much quit. And I started going to change my whole environment, because if I go to another environment and the same thing is happening, it's me. And there was no problems when I went to Brazil, so I'm not the problem.
Okay. So, but you're 23. So in 2020, you were 21.
Mm-hmm.
What were the results that you were wanting as a young 21-year-old man?
Well, I wasn't looking for a relationship, right? But I didn't want to sleep with women or just meet. I didn't want to have to associate with women I'd probably be ashamed of to be in public with.
Okay. So the women that you were dating then or knew, those were women that you weren't interested in or would be ashamed of dating?
Just good enough for sex.
At 21.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When was your last relationship here in the States?
When I was 20. So 2020,
Yeah.
February. That's when it ended, February 2020.
And was that a long-term relationship? Were you in love?
I guess you could say I was in love. It was a year and a half. We lived in the same. She, we were living together.
So it was serious.
Yeah, but never again.
Do you mind talking about what happened?
I don't know what the hell her problem was. I mean, she was just kind of. Well, I'm not gonna put her out there. Like, actually, I don't care. She had the hygiene problem thing that I was talking about, and then she just was like really like rude a
Mm-hmm.
lot. And I know they say women nag, but it was too much. It was just too much. It was too much nagging. I knew that wasn't right. And even, long story short, I ended up kicking her out because I just got tired of it.
Okay. Was that your only real relationship that you had?
Uh,
Or
out, of,
serious,
high
or a
school,
serious relationship?
out of high school, yeah.
Yeah. So your mom and then the last girlfriend. And then this was the end all be all for you for American women.
Well, no, being single, I started dating again, and
Okay.
it's like sifting through trash.
Were you dating just in the in the Dallas Fort Worth, Texas area, or have you ever tried dating outside or different other women in other areas in the states?
Yeah, I've flown a couple people out. Even 2 months after that. Well, really not even 2 months, like maybe a month, half a month, something. It wasn't that long.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say April.
Okay.
April of 2020. I had somebody that I brought from Philly, and she was cool, but she tried to rush me into. I mean, she was 29, and for some reason, when they're that age, you're supposed to get married in 2 months. So, yeah, I wasn't doing that, and she kind of lost it after that. So I don't care.
Mm. Do you think you have enough experience with women to completely say you're done with Western women?
I just refuse to, you know, stress myself out. Um, I've had a lot of experience with women, and some people are like, but you're so young. Well, I'm not gonna stress myself out for another 5 years if that's what you're recommending.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've had enough experience. Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about TikTok and how it completely blew you out the frame and went viral. And everyone was asking, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Were you surprised?
No.
You weren't.
No.
Okay. Explain. Why weren't you surprised? And this is the being going viral and and people wanting to know who you were. Why were you not surprised?
Well, I've always never really had a filter, so I just knew if I put that on the internet, it would go viral. Uh, I
Hmm.
didn't do it to go viral. I just had a feeling that a lot of people will feel unruly about it. I've always made pretty bold statements, so
Yeah. And they have. So you went from you was like fed up and then you went to okay, I'm done. So how
mhm.
did that transition of being frustrated and then being done? Was there another woman in between that did that for you, or you was just like, you know what, F this?
It was so much of the trips to Brazil. It wasn't the women here in the states. I was already done before I went to Brazil. I went to Brazil, and before I got off the plane, I kind of was like, I'm done. I hadn't even really seen anybody yet, and I was like, I don't know if it was the way how the sun set or whatever, just the landscape, because I was still on the plane. And
Mm-hmm.
then when we sat on the beach, and I just saw the type of women out there and just how they were acting, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna want anything when I get back. When I got back, I didn't fool with anybody. And then
Yeah.
when I went the second time, I got the same result. I was there for 2 weeks this time, and yeah, I got back and I was like, yeah, I'm absolutely done. Never again. No kids, no marriage in the States ever.
So you traveled, you went to Rio, and I believe you went there, I heard was in February, and that was around your birthday for the first time. Is that right?
My birthday's in May. I went in May.
And went in
Went
May.
in February.
Okay. Tell me about those experiences and the culture and also the women. How was it completely different from here, from there to over here in the States?
The women are a lot more attentive. Um, and a lot of people like to have this weak rebuttal that, oh, well, you were just fooling with women in the States that weren't into you. I've had some women in the States that were really into me, and they would have never thought to do some of these things these women in Brazil did.
Like what?
Well,
What are these things that the women are doing?
Well, one, without me asking, ironing my clothes. I didn't require that, but just her doing that without me asking. That's such a small thing. I've had somebody taste my food. I've
Mm-hmm.
had somebody wash my clothes. These are all simple things that don't happen in the States often anymore. Uh, you're hearing a lot of women say they need a ring to make you a bowl of spaghetti. I think that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
A foreign woman gets a ring for cooking, and American thinks that she gets one to cook.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Uh, but it's just completely different. Their femininity, how soft spoken they are. Uh, you can tell you're pretty much leading them. Leading is now misogyny in the United States. I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't deal with it.
So, okay, because this is where I'm trying to understand where you went there on vacation and was there for a few days. How were you able to experience a woman by being on vacation and having a woman uh, iron for you, wash your clothes? Was this just a woman that you met one day, invite her over, and then she started doing this within a couple of days? Because I guess I'm gonna ask, how long have you been over there as far as an amount of time to understand how the women would naturally treat you for you to be done with women in the States?
Well, I've only been over there 3 weeks this year, but wait, what exactly are you asking?
Okay. Um, okay, let's just say you was over there for 3 weeks.
hmm
In that amount of time, you was able to find a one particular woman that not only ironed for you and um, washed your clothes. That just seems like a short amount of time for someone that hasn't been there to you get off the plane and you meet a woman and all of a sudden you bring her home and she's becoming like a wife.
Yeah, I guess it's just a different culture out there. I mean, I can't recall that ever happening here. Um, is that you're asking why is she doing that so quickly?
Well, yeah. So usually, like I go out of town or someone goes out of town and they're maybe meet a woman and go out and have a good time. But usually, I'm not familiar with a man meeting a woman that's they don't know a whole new country, inviting them over, and then they settle into washing your clothes and ironing. So that is interesting. And if that happened, okay, but that just seemed like a quick turnaround.
Yeah, and I mean you can't get rid of them either. I can get rid of an American woman without even trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, the women in Brazil you couldn't really get rid of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I don't. I mean, that's just what they do. I don't think that's she's putting up a front. That's just what they do. Because I mean, we could say she's putting up a front, but what front is an American woman putting up? She's not ironing nothing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm gonna get back to that, but let's go again. I want to finish talking about with your TikTok and you going viral, and then here comes the manosphere, and you kind of blow up here on YouTube. Were you
hmm
familiar with the manosphere?
Yes.
What did you know about the manosphere, and this particularly the Black manosphere?
Uh, I was a Kevin Samuels fan. I used to watch Manosphere highlights daily. Alpha male strategies. Would you? Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much. I knew about it. I didn't know as much as I do now, of course, but
Mhm.
yeah, I just knew about the problems that we were already having. And
Yeah. And you related to Kevin Samuels as far as his talking points.
I couldn't relate because he seems like he was talking to dudes over 30 that had all these huge networks, and it's kind of wasn't for the average person. I
Mhm.
didn't, but I knew what he was talking about. I mean, he described my mother a lot of times.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. Now you don't like to be compared to Kevin Samuels.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just that the people that say that, they're mocking me when they say that. So they're like, "Oh, you're trying to be Kevin Samuels." I was like, "Kevin Samuels didn't go to Columbia."
Yeah, no, I think maybe the comparison is because of um you don't hold back. You say what you're going to say, and it's not anybody's feelings that you're necessarily trying to tiptoe around. So maybe that aspect of it. But no, I don't. I think you guys are different. I can see why they would try to compare you, but I completely think that it's different.
Yeah.
So your impact on the manosphere and how you've grown tremendously. Are you surprised on that?
Yes.
Explain.
I was surprised because at one point it was getting maybe like 1,000 to 2,000 subscribers a day. Kind of
Mhm.
slowed down, but that was surprising. I didn't think I would grow that fast. I didn't think I would have this, my network increase seems like overnight.
Mhm.
So yeah, that I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
But how many people took it serious? Yeah.
Were you serious when you started your page and talking about going overseas? Was this something that you were serious with, or something that now is becoming serious to you?
No, I was serious with it because I felt the need to help other people. Because I know it's other men dealing with the same problems and maybe they don't know.
Mhm.
And I guess since they say I don't look like the typical travel guy, that I'd be a lot more believable.
Yeah. Let's talk about that because you don't. I think it's the age of being 23.
Mhm.
Um, what you look like, you are attractive. Not saying the passport boys, bros aren't, but I think because you're so young and are you 6 foot? I know that's a thing.
I'm 5'11".
5'11", so, well, damn near there.
Mhm.
So what you look like in your age would not be necessarily someone where we're normally hearing that are done with American women. And now that you are and you're on such a big platform now, you have men that's following you, listening to you, and being inspired to you that's twice, 3 times your age. How does that feel to have older men look up to you?
It feels like I'm being held to a standard. I love it.
Is it intimidating?
No, no, I'm never intimidated.
Okay. What is some of the maybe surprising things that some of the people maybe on your platform has told you that was like, what?
You had to give me an example on that one.
Okay. So you come in here in the manosphere and then the passport bros and you've taken off. But because of a lot of men that are over here that are married, that are still married, I've heard a lot of interesting things about their wives not even being a wife to them, which is surprising. I've heard things that men have said, my wife don't even tell me that she loves me or she doesn't even listen to me. A lot of times with that, I'm surprised because again, this is your wife. That should be the one that you connect with the most. So is there anything that you've heard that you're surprised that older men are telling you about being in a relationship here or even about their wives?
No, because I've been pretty much red pilled, I'd say, since I was like 13.
Mm-hmm.
I've known about how bad things can get in female nature. So when I hear these stories, I mean, they might be shocking to hear, but it's none of it's surprising. I've heard it all before. I've seen it in my family, and my friends' parents as well. I do a good job of observing.
Yeah. What does your family think about your success on the social media platforms?
Uh, my mother thinks I don't know I don't know exactly what her stance is. She thought she would call into my show one day and tell everybody that, oh, well, Austin would like to date an American woman, but that's not what I said. I never said that. I never said I would like to date an American woman. I wouldn't be making these videos.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
They,
So
they
go ahead. I'm sorry.
most of them like it.
Most of them. Your mom doesn't.
She does. It's just some things that I say she might fit in the boxes, so she doesn't like that.
Yeah. The siblings that you're close to, are they your brothers?
Hmm.
And they know as far as what you speak about on YouTube. And do they agree with you?
Yes, my older brother, he's 26. The other one's 13, so he doesn't have enough experience. But the older one knows exactly what I'm talking about. He taught me a lot. That's why I say I've been red pill since like 13.
What did he teach you?
Well, I mean, he just pretty much. I've always been a "it is what it is" or nonchalant person,
Mhm.
But he kind of just woken me up to women cheating, and he kind of just drilled it in my head that she's always talking to somebody else, which isn't always true. Or yeah, all the bad things. So yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that you're official and you have your following and you have a lot of support, and you made it official by, and I'm going to bring this up, getting a tattoo.
Yeah.
Passport Bros, enlightened Western men. Let's talk about this. Why did you get this tatted? What does that mean? Tell me about the Facebook group. What is this that you're trying to conjure up?
Uh, well, even before I started getting on YouTube, I wanted to get a passport because everything. Well, because it changed my life. The
Mhm.
passport changed my life. So I mean, that's why I got it. Enlightened Western Men is the Facebook group. That's my network. That's what we go by. So I put that on there too. Uh, Passport Bros. That wasn't my idea, but I just thought it would look good on top of there. So it was gonna say passport, but I was like, oh, why don't we just put Bros at the
Passport
end? So
Bros.
that makes more sense.
Yeah.
People,
So you have a Facebook group of like-minded men like you that are telling you that they want to go overseas.
Mhm.
Have these men that you've met because of you have taken that trip?
I've I believe so. I've had a few men reach out, or I haven't had the solid proof yet. But I've had men comment after watching my video they bought their plane ticket. I didn't ask to see it, but in the Facebook group we share plenty of photos overseas, so it seems like it's doing what it's supposed to do.
What's your goal?
My goal is one goal.
Hmm.
Let me just say one thing is I want to get as many men out of here as I can, like
Okay.
completely.
Hmm.
I want you women to have as many simps here as you can to yourself. And those are the dudes that you like to use and abuse. Y'all can have them.
Okay.
Uh, and the dudes with means, we can go elsewhere. And
Hmm.
I want to have a compound in several major countries where we can all have a safe zone.
Okay. So the goal is not for the men just to get their passports to visit. The goal is for men to get passports, pick up, get visas, and move.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a particular country that you're suggested the men go to?
I mean, it's wherever you want to go. I mean, everybody likes different types of women. Just mine more than likely would be Brazil.
Okay. Let me pull up something too. And I just got this from your community post. Chances of you having to play for play and Medellin 100%. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do the approach videos here. Too many pros. I'm suggesting those prostitutes here. The baddest chicks to approach are still working girls. They are normal girls, but very few. So majority of these women that are approaching you are prostitutes. Can you turn a hoe into a housewife?
Y'all better not be with prostitutes. That's not. I mean, I've done it, right? But I have.
Wait a minute.
What? No, I'm not. I'm not saying I dated one. I'm saying like I've slept with a prostitute. I've never. I would never date it. I've never kissed a prostitute. I wouldn't do. I'm just telling dudes. Well, ask me. What did you just ask me again?
Can you turn a hoe into a housewife?
Oh no, no. I mean a literal hoe like a prostitute. No.
So going back to where you've been visiting in Brazil and overseas, and with this, when it's saying that majority of the women that are over there that you encounter were prostitutes, and that the good women are far few in between. So I guess. Mhm.
Well, I'm gonna have to update. Uh, I'm gonna have to update my statement because I've had the Columbia experts check me about that tweet, and that's because I was in the tourist zone.
Mhm.
It may sound obvious in Brazil's tourist zone, it's not as many prostitutes there. But if you go outside of the tourist zone, there are plenty of good women. But if you don't know, in my experience, because I didn't know Spanish, I was getting rejected left and right because I didn't know Spanish because they think you're a sex tourist. I asked them that,
Yeah.
and because they say it's because you are American, which also kills that green card shit.
Mhm. So okay. Well, there was, and then this is just off yours that I saw. If prostitution, I guess, was legal in all 50 states, there wouldn't be a dating problem. Can't weaponize it if it's readily available everywhere. So, should prostitution be legal here in the States?
Yes, I actually have been saying that tweet since I was like 16. I've known that since I was 16 that if the prostitution was legal, all these games would not be here. No more foodie calls. You know, how are you gonna foodie call me?
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna. You can get me with that one time, not several.
Yeah.
You know, the sexless marriages. I mean, good luck with that. I mean, it's just it solves a lot of problems whenever women cannot use sex against you.
Okay.
Weaponized sex. I'm trying to say.
So, I guess my question with those two, and you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, but you've been in the tourist areas when you went to visit.
In Medellin.
Okay. But so how does one, or are these conversations that you're having with these men to let them know how to decipher or where to go to find good women? Or are the men wanting to go over there to just enjoy women in Brazil or Thailand or whatever country that you would suggest?
Well, I mean, if you don't know, how to decipher between a regular woman and a prostitute, you don't need to leave the country yet. That's because prostitutes are pretty obvious. They're pretty aggressive. Uh, I I recommend men not be fools.
Hmm.
Hyping up prostitutes. I think that's nuts. Uh, Honestly, I think a prostitute would make a better housewife than most of these women in my own country.
Why would you say that?
Well, because they actually care about what men want.
Okay.
These
So,
most American women don't give a damn about what you want,
okay.
and that's and
I'm taking it
I just seen somebody just comment remove sex and what do women have to offer you, and that's what I'm saying too. A lot of women nowadays only have sex to offer because they can weaponize it against you. So if you make prostitution legal, they're gonna have to do something different.
So if prostitution was legal here, do you think that there would be a reason for men to go overseas?
Less men would go overseas. Some men are still going to do it, but less men.
And it's because the sex would not be weaponized.
Yeah, so she's going to have to, you know, she's going to have to figure out a way to cater to you like
Okay.
they did before.
Okay. Let me get to some of these super chats. I'm saving them, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let me get some of this. We have Uncle Stu on the blog. Thank you. Salute, salute, support the stream. Thank you, Uncle Stu. My guy, Jasmine, man, this show is going to be amazing. Shout out to you, Courtney, doing your thing, and shout out to all the passport bros out here, SYSBM. Thank you for your super chat. Wrench Turner, what is going on? This is for the calls. I appreciate you. Kevin C., my guy. The fact that Mr. Holloman's highly visible points to a problem with men having trouble finding dateable and marriageable women in their own country. Thank you for that, Kevin C. I agree. I've said this a lot. Young men see the issues. Thank you, Kevin. And Courtney, your questions are on point. Well, I appreciate that. Colonel Sanders. Right. All right. So we'll put that up. All right. So you say that prostitutes overseas, and I've heard this before actually, that they would be better than the women over here.
Mm-hmm. The regular women, yes.
Why do you think Western women, I guess you are more masculine, not as feminine, not submissive here? What do you think is the core issue that Western women have?
Like, what is their, like, my complaint?
Yeah. And they're this. Why do you think women act a way that's different than overseas?
Well, I always tell people I never ask why. I know why.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say I never ask why those women overseas are treating us better. Because let me answer your question first, and then I
Okay.
go to
You're fine.
it's like somebody's left in the comments. It's entitlement. It's
Mhm.
entitlement, and that's leading them to not care about anything that men want to do or men want.
Mhm.
What was I saying? What was I? It was another point I was about to touch on.
Mhm.
I forgot.
So the women that are here,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you was gonna say maybe the characteristics that you think that are different from the women here than over.
I don't ask why the women overseas are treating us better because people love when I tell them about what happens in Brazil. Oh, they're just doing. I didn't ask. I didn't ask why she's doing that. All I
Mhm.
know is you're not doing that.
Yeah. Do you think it matters the why though? Like why would a woman treat you a certain way? And this is the reason why I asked. So there's this movement, right? I'm not sure if you heard of it. It was called the soft girl era. And it's women here in the States, and particularly Black women, that are saying, hey, I get better results when I'm more feminine, when I am softer, when I'm more gently spoken and treat men a certain type of way. So let's create this space for women that are wanting to be softer and more feminine. So, but that has gotten a lot of pushback from men saying, well, that's fake. And Wrench Turner, my guy in the comments, would say that's the great value of submission. So, does the why matter on how a woman treats you?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's why. I mean, because as a man, you have to become a man of value. You have to, build your career up. Get your physical appearance up to get the type of woman you want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna do all that and ask, well, why are you treating me like this? I don't give a damn why you treat me like that. I just knew what I had to do to get it. If I gotta get a plane ticket to get to Brazil to be treated right, I'm not gonna start asking them why when I get over there.
Okay.
I know why. That's because that's how they were raised.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because I'm an American. That may happen, not with me.
Okay.
I just don't fall for tricks.
Okay. But the why doesn't matter to you though, just as long as you're being treated the way that you want to be treated.
Yes.
Okay. So in this era now where some women are wanting to treat you the way that you want to be treated, and if the why doesn't matter, is this movement important for Black women that want Black men to stay in the States?
Their soft girl era, even if it was genuine, it doesn't compare to what you would
Mhm.
get in Brazil. It doesn't compare. That's the next problem. Even if they want to get better, it doesn't compare.
Mhm. Now, you said on a stream before that there was a woman that when you came back that was cooking for you and showing you all kind of love and attention, and she was a woman here in the States. And you said that I don't really care if she was doing all this, I'm just over it. Do you remember having that conversation?
Hmm.
Yeah. So you met a woman that was treating you the way that you wanted to be treated, and you didn't give her a chance.
No.
Why? Just because she's in the States?
Well, I mean, more than likely, it doesn't compare to what That's why that's the next problem. It doesn't compare. The treatment that I can guarantee you once you experience the treatment in Brazil, there's nothing that compares in the States.
Did you or were you able or would you ever give a woman that chance? Like that lady that you said that you met, would you give her the chance to see?
Not really. No, I'm done. I don't even really want to sleep with them. So no, no.
Okay. Have you been in relationship with a woman overseas?
Yes.
Are you in one now?
No.
So you were in a long distance relationship?
Yes, for 4 months. But I'm not. I am still doing my own thing, and I'm very honest about that up front, so they know what they're getting into.
Okay. So the woman that you had for 4 months, I'm going to assume that you just met her over there. So you didn't really have time to really be with her. It was long distance. So how can you guarantee that she would most definitely treat you better than the woman here that was treating you there and that you did have the opportunity to see because she was here in the States?
Well, I mean, it just ask me that one more time. Let me think about it. Ask me that one more time.
So you are saying I guarantee that the women over there is going to just treat you better than any woman over here. However, you haven't had enough time with a woman there physically. But there was a woman here that was giving you what you wanted. But you said no to her because you are given a guarantee of something that you really haven't experienced yet.
Okay.
Do you think that that was a fair chance that you would have gave that woman, or at least could have been a shot to see, since she's readily available here and not doing something long distance or something that you think is a guarantee?
I had a chick when I went to Brazil in May, and I got back, and I was like, let me try this in the States again to see if maybe I just grew up since February. I just grew up
Hmm.
a little more. Let's see. It's still the same BS. But anyway, I got this chick, and she was cooking.
Hmm.
She was she was feminine, not comparable to Brazil feminine. She was nice, not comparable to Brazil nice. It's a whole different world, and her pH was off. So no, it doesn't. There's you. I can't win here.
Hmm. Okay. Let me I'm gonna do this for you because you said this, and this is probably something that I like to hear. I just did something with one of the actors from The Woman King, John Boyega, and he made it matter of fact that I don't want anything but a black woman. Didn't necessarily specify a black woman in the States, but he said he doesn't want anything but a black woman. Now there was a stream that you said that too. I'm gonna bring it up.
This is true. They kind of look like the Brazilians a little bit, not all the way, but a little bit. That's why I'm trying to figure out where they at, because there's not a lot of black women in Colombia like that, in Medellin like that. So I'm trying to figure out where they at, because I mean I like all races of women or all colors, but I like black women.
So you prefer black women?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I don't know, just subconsciously, that's what I always end up with.
Do you want to marry a black woman?
If I was to get married, yes.
But just not in the States.
No.
Okay. So my thing is this, because, and I know this is probably some of the pushback that you get, and this would be, I guess, some of the pushback that I would give you, is because you are 23 and you haven't hit your prime yet. And I understand with you and your mom, and then you had one real relationship with a woman that it didn't work out. And you left her, you kicked her out. And she didn't even leave you. And usually you always hear this, the woman leaving, the woman messing it up, the woman is divorcing. But you left her. So because of that, I know you said that you've experienced enough, but it just doesn't seem like you've experienced or have it from those two major experiences is what that I am getting, that you're saying that you're done. And then you meet a woman that's doing this for you, that's here in the States, and you don't even give her a chance. Do you think you're jaded?
No, but I do want to say this. You said I haven't hit my prime yet.
No, you haven't. You
Okay.
ain't. Majority of men hit their prime once they hit like 40. And what I mean prime, it's usually when we talk about prime, it's like their financial peak, where you've created your businesses and you're solid and fine. So usually, and these are studies that find that men usually hit their peak around 40. So at 23, a lot of guys are kind of just getting it and starting up and figuring out and things like that. So I'm just putting you with the in general that you haven't hit your stride yet because you have so much more to do, grow, learn, make money, all that. So do you think that those two experiences has jaded you with the millions of women here in the States?
Well, I'll tell you this: if I have to wait until I'm 40 and deal with BS for 20 years, I'm gonna hate women when I get to 40.
Well, not necessarily saying that, but like your career, and you already know your mission and what you're wanting to do. Not necessarily that you're going to find a great woman at 40. That's not necessarily true, but from your two experiences.
Well, it's not so much relationship, just all the two relationships. It's just no, even just dating. I mean, I mean, there's no substance here. I'm not really missing out on nothing.
You said that you want to be married eventually, and you want to marry a black woman. I'm gonna keep throwing that out there. What are the qualities that you want to have in a wife?
Well, I want her to be friendly at all times. I want her to let me lead. I want her to be peaceful. I want her to serve me. That does not mean slavery. I don't know why we get the word serve mixed up with slavery. I want her to inspire me to be my best version of myself. Those are just a few. I can go on forever, but those are a few. Those are the most important ones. And I want her to be fit too. Yes, I'm fit.
Yes. Okay. Which I think that's what every man wants. Do you know any successful marriages here in the States?
It's taking me too long to think about it.
So you don't?
No.
The men that are on your Facebook and that follow you, Are any of them married?
Yes. Several.
What do they tell you?
What do you mean? Tell me about what?
Yeah. I mean, they're married, but yet are following a passport bro, but yet they're married. Are they married to women here in the States? Or are they married to women that they got overseas?
No, they're married to the women from overseas. They're just in my Facebook group helping inspire.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any men that are married that are from women here in the States that follow you that you know of?
Not that I don't know any dudes that are married that are cheating on their wives. No.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be cheating because there's a lot of married men in this space, and there's a lot of married men in this space that are married to Black women, but are still critical of Black women. So it wouldn't be necessarily far-fetched that, and I know a lot of men that are married to Black women that support passport bros, which again, from the question that I asked you before, which I was surprised because they're married to Black women, but are supportive of passport bros. Does that surprise you?
No.
Well, it surprises me. I guess. So to your 13-year-old brother, that I guess hasn't dated yet, what advice would you give him once he starts dating?
To use a condom and never tie any strings to an American woman.
I need to know, like, I understand and I try to listen, be empathetic to a lot of men's struggles that they've had. And I would be lying if I told you that I didn't see it either. And I've had my fair share on these platforms with women that I just like, you are the reason why men are leaving. So I understand that. However, I think platforms like yours are important because it's allowing women to see that men are having the ability to leave and will leave your ass if you don't get it together. So for those women that are learning and want to do better and are wanting a Black man that's here in America, what advice would you give those women?
Those women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's kind of hard, because I'm at a point where I don't really care what their outcomes are. I'm just trying to get men to go where they can go. I don't really think about helping the women here too much because you can't tell them anything. But if they wanted to listen, get in the gym. That's the easiest part you can do is get in the gym.
Okay.
That is a hard question. It's because it's hard for me to consider help
Mm-hmm.
because I tried to. Well, I never tried to help, but I just I don't. Maybe they just need to watch my videos and just listen to what I say, and have an open mind when listening.
Yeah.
They should be able to learn.
Because you have women that watch you.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've always said that I was a huge Kevin Samuels fan because when I listened to him and I was able to get it and listen and like, yeah, some of us are completely out of order. But again, he wasn't necessarily telling men to go overseas. And so for those women that want Black men, and even for that woman that wanted you, and you're like, no, I'm done, even though she's showing you submissiveness and traits of a wife, is it too late for those women?
With the exposure of this content, that's more than likely to be a yes. Yeah, since I've been to Brazil, the women don't even look the same here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm having a call-in show tomorrow of American women, and even they're so difficult to deal with. I was
Mm-hmm.
at the gym and I approached a woman and asked her. Told her I had a YouTube channel. I wanted her to call in, and she was rude about declining to call in. And I'm like, all you had to say was no. This is why you're gonna die alone because look at how you act. I'm not even trying to date you. I'm asking if you'll call into my show. You think I'm trying to flirt with you? I just asked you a question.
Yeah. Okay. What about the men they can't go overseas and that want to be married? What advice would you give them?
I've been asked this before. That is
Mhm.
that's a hard question. That's a hard question as well. I mean, if they can't go overseas, that's the only solution is to get out of here. Unless you want to go. I mean, uh, I would say maybe become a little more nonchalant because you're going to be digging through a needle in several haystacks.
But you met one.
One.
Was that really a needle? Because it's not like you just been out here in these streets in the States, but you met one. So that means that they still here.
It's always a catch. There's always a catch. I told her pH was off. She told me she wasn't gonna fix it. I'm not dealing with that. So there's always some sort of catch. There's a deal breaker catch.
Mm-hmm.
I've approached a lot of women, so I mean,
Yeah. Do you consider yourself, or not necessarily pro-black, but do you do anything or suggest anyone do anything to help the community here in the States for Black people?
they should follow my content and go to another country.
So, are you done with your community here in the States?
The majority of the black women, I mean, majority of the men in my community are listening to me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the majority of the black women can't listen to me. So I'm not the type person. If you don't want to listen, I don't give a damn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing my part by putting the information out there. You don't want to use it, that's on you. Uh, so yeah, I mean, it's not that the community gave up on me.
How?
It ain't helping me out. I mean, well, as far as my network now with travel, most of us are black. They're helping me
Mm-hmm.
out. They show me when I got to the other countries, it was all love. They showed me around places. That's in Colombia.
Mm-hmm. You
It
don't think you would find that community here with the majority of men that are listening to you and following you are here in the States? So that brotherhood could be here. So
well,
let
what do
me
we?
say this. Um, and again, not comparing you to anything as far as with Kevin Samuels or not even talking about those talking points. But I think a lot of people were surprised of the amount of women that did listen. I think people are surprised that he also had a YouTube page, not YouTube page, I'm sorry, but a Facebook page where there were Black men that got married to Black women.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you're saying for men to go overseas, but yet don't necessarily have any suggestions for men that can't or maybe still want to be here. So is the mission just to get men out, or is the mission for men to find happiness and love and to be married?
My mission is to get men nearly guaranteed results. And so far, my results of leaving the country and going to XYZ countries are guaranteed results.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell you to stay in the States and just wait. I can guarantee you failure, if we want to do that. But I can guarantee you success if you go to whatever you're looking for, a good time or a marriage, you go overseas, it's guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. It's guaranteed, but Black people are still getting married here and are still falling in love here. We just don't see it a lot because we're in this particular space, but they still are. So it can't be dead and it can't be a guarantee because it's still happening here.
Well, it's not that it's not happening. It's not that people aren't getting married, right? But I mean, the data has shown that over the years has declined.
Yeah.
That's something Kevin Samuels always brought up that has been declining.
Yeah. Well, I guess marriage in general here in the West, it definitely has. You have sisters.
One,
How old is she?
26.
Do you talk to her? Is she masculine or are you guys close?
I didn't meet her until I was 15, so we're
Mm,
not that close. I haven't talked to her in years, maybe two, three. It's been a while.
yeah. Do
Uh,
you know if she's married or not?
I know she's not married.
So would you tell your sister that it's too late for her?
You trying to tap me with some emotion? That's hard to do with the emotional part on me. I'm very, I don't get phased well. Uh, I mean, according to them, there's a lot of men that there's where all the good men at. So I mean, they've already told me that it was over with. So I guess yeah, I would tell her it's over with. I mean, that's what they've been saying.
So you would tell your sister that it's over for her. Jeez.
It
I
is what
don't
it is.
think so.
Well,
I
she
think,
she can find somebody, but I'm just basing off what I hear. The majority of women seem like all the men here ain't shit. So if I go based off what I heard, I would tell her, hey, I guess I mean you have to marry somebody that ain't shit. I guess.
yeah. I think for me, things decline, but that doesn't mean that things can't change. And my focus is for things to change, especially for those that can't go or want to be here. Women like me that our preference is a black man, that adore black men and very protective of black men. As a woman with three brothers, the woman with a stepdad and a biological father that I'm close to. So I'm focused on that, on the fixing of our community instead of telling everyone that it can't be. Do you see any hope for black men and black women here in the States?
I mean, we can have wishes. I mean, I can wish that things can get better, but I mean, there's no hope for men in general. Men are being emasculated, not just black men. Men are being emasculated. You know, they're tearing down men completely in all races. So if it's happening to all of us, we're of course we always get hit pretty hard with it. So uh, to answer your question, no.
Ain't no sunshine over there. Okay, where is
It's,
it
it
just
is.
seems so bleak. And then for I guess for me, like I said, you have a 13-year-old brother and then a sister that's not married yet. And it just seems like if there's and not I don't do the fairy tales, but I'm focused on what's better. But there can't be anything better if we're just so bleak and gloom and like we just done.
It's not. It's only gloom while I'm here.
Hmm.
It's not gloom in Colombia and Brazil. That's why I tell people to do that.
Are men telling you they want to be married over there or just want to get their passports and go?
The last guy I went to, I went to Colombia with two guys. One of them is my age, one of them is double my age. And the
Hmm.
one that's double my age, he's looking for something serious. So he is. There are men. I'm not looking for nothing serious yet. My
Right.
my point is, if I'm just telling people, I damn sure wouldn't look in the United States
Hmm.
uh, when I am ready for that. But there are a lot of men that actually want girlfriends and wives, and I mean, if I'm having, an annoying time just trying to have a good time in the United States, I could only imagine if I was looking for a relationship.
Yeah. So let's kind of change the topic because with all the excitement that you have awoken in a lot of men, there has been a lot of people that has been your detractors and has made videos about you, has said everything, but you are a child of God. So I want to talk about that. What is one of the things that you've heard about yourself that is completely untrue?
Where do I start?
Hmm.
Well, I recently was called a pervert. Uh,
Why?
because I told the dude I was watching pornography when I was 6.
Mhm. Okay.
I had
Well,
access to the internet.
well, let's talk about that because I did hear that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wouldn't call you that. That wouldn't make any sense that you're 6. But again, I think that also speaks to maybe, how the whys of why is Austin the way Austin? He's just done at 23, right? Okay. So at 6, you stated that you were exposed to pornography. Do you think that that was a huge issue and a problem for a 6-year-old to be exposed to that?
I mean, no. I mean, everybody, all the other 6-year-olds I knew, it was 2000. It was 2005. I
Hmm.
mean, the internet, Google was out. I mean, they got sex scenes on the movies. You type in the word sex, and then you get porn websites as a 6-year-old.
Right. But at 6, a 6-year-old seeing that, you don't think that that might have changed a lot of what you thought of and changed who you are by a 6-year-old being exposed to not just the kissing scene, but pornography?
Well, what would have changed? Like, what is changing? What in my mind is going to change from watching sex?
Well, I'll say this. I know that you talk a lot about like liberal and liberals are crazy. And I agree. I'm more conservative in my train of thinking. And they have these drag queen, I guess that they go to libraries and read to the children, and with gay pride things that they bring the children there. So it's overexposure to a lot of things that children don't understand and don't have the capability to understand. And I'm a big proponent of children need to be protected. Children need to be as innocent as possible. And that's where parents come in to be very, very strict on what the child listens to and what the child sees. So exposure to sex for a 6-year-old and them not being able to comprehend what they're seeing, for me, would be completely traumatic. Just like a 6-year-old, if something were to happen to them where they've got molested, they don't understand. So it's completely traumatic.
Well, maybe I was just smarter. I knew it. I knew what they were doing.
But how okay, at kindergarten, you understood the concept of that.
I mean, I just knew that. I don't know. I guess there's certain things. I mean, it's just like if a child walks in on his parents having sex and he hear his mother screaming, but he sees that. I don't think he runs to help his mother. I think he just shuts the door because as humans, we know there are just certain natural things that we just know. I mean, it's just sex. I mean, because I'm not a over. Clearly, I got control of my sex drive. I'm not having sex with these women here, so it didn't affect me that much.
Yeah. Let me go because I guess I don't know who this person is, but these are conversations that I think is important. And I don't know where the shaming is, but do I think a 6-year-old needs to be exposed to things? I personally don't. Now, Austin does or doesn't see it, but that's not shaming. It's just a difference of opinion. So I like these conversations to be a conversation. A difference of opinion does not equate to shaming. Sometimes you got to check the people. So, but okay. So again, for me, I think that a 6-year-old being exposed to that would definitely change a lot of your ideas on relationships and understand things that happen between a parent. but that's why you have mom and dad to explain. Did anyone explain to you in the pornography that you saw at 6 about what it is?
Yeah, I got a whooping, and my mom told me that I shouldn't watch that. But being a kid, I'm trying to figure out what in my mind, like, how am I going to view the world differently?
So when Austin becomes a dad
Hmm.
and you have a little girl, little boy, and at 6, do you think that that would be a right age, or it'll be okay, or that it's normal for if your child say, I was watching Pornhub? Would that strike you as something to be concerned or a red flag?
I mean, no, it's just like, it just. I wish you probably would have waited until maybe you were 10, but there's sex scenes in every movie. You're gonna get exposed to it. I'm trying to figure out where are we going.
Okay, so I'm just as like I said, I'm just not, and I think that kids need to be protected. And I think, and this is just me, if I was like your mom at 6, I would be concerned and I would lose it
Well,
because I just don't.
maybe that's because you're a woman. You think like
Maybe you think
that's
dads
gotta
are
be
different. Maybe it's a gender thing because you think your
exactly.
dad. Okay.
When the first time I had sex, my mother was crying for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I told my dad, and he said, "What do you say?" I think he said it's a pretty good thing, isn't it? So parents view things differently based off the gender.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Okay.
yeah, as a man, I don't see the problem with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't.
So that was one thing that you heard about yourself was a pervert, which I don't agree with at all. Um, Another thing that has came up, and I think that this is recent, about your GoFundMe.
Mhm.
So you have a GoFundMe page, and I have it here. I'll pull it up. That you are raising 70K for
Mhm.
GoFundMe. Where did this idea come from, and do you get why people would be questioning why you're soliciting money to move overseas?
Well, I'm not necessarily moving off of that money. The title that says World Tour, meaning that if you want me, like they say in the comments, if you want me to go to 40 different countries in the next year or year and a half, I'm not cutting hair anymore. So
Mhm.
I need something to survive off of if you want me to do that. If you want me to, because my personal life isn't personal anymore. So if you want me to do that in every other country around the world for a year and a half straight, that's not free for me.
Okay. So I was thinking that the 70K was for you to leave the country, period, and just to move overseas. But the 70K is to, if people want you to travel and do this full time, that if that's what they want, then they need to help.
And I mean, this is another thing. If I was going to steal all of that money, don't you think that I would come up missing? I mean, why would I publicly scam 3,500 people that I requested?
Yeah.
That's we've seen movies about people doing Ponzi schemes and stuff like that. Those people come up missing.
Yeah. So I don't know if it would be a scam per se because you're telling the people what it is. I
Mhm.
think, and from what I heard, the pushback was if you were making 6 figures cutting hair and you're doing very well on YouTube, then why should anyone fund you anymore from what you're doing now? Because you should obviously have it. I don't know if the people is pocket watching you or not, but I think that's what I've heard the pushback was. Why should people that are even trying to save up to go, that they can't readily go here, they're saving up, why should they support you leaving where they're still here trying to save up and go?
Well, let me say this too. A lot of people say there's a lot of fools on the internet that say, "Oh, Austin, you don't have the money." They think I'm making all this up. They say the average barber is making like $45,000 a
Mhm.
year cutting hair. That's not me. I'm making like $130,000 a year cutting hair. It's my haircuts are a minimum $70 a person, so they don't know what the hell they're talking about. First of all, and again, if I stop cutting hair, I stop making money, meaning that I'm dependent on YouTube,
Mhm.
my supporters. If they
Mhm.
support me, what am I going to do? Not put out the content? And that's why I said I'd come up missing.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't even really pay attention. I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff that they say.
Are you surprised of the pushback that you've been getting and the videos about you? Does that surprise you?
No. I mean, we got a lot of low lifes with no talent out here. We got a lot of losers out here.
Mhm.
Uh, it just shows me how feminine the men have become in the United States. About you got people like literally doing research over me. I'm shocked that I'm at this point in life. I love it. Uh,
Yeah.
I love it. I love the heat.
Yeah. People have attacked your family.
Hmm.
In particular, I know they've attacked your mom.
Hmm.
Does she know?
I sent her the video. I sent the. I sent. I
Really?
didn't. I didn't even. I haven't watched any of the videos about my mother, but I sent it to my mother, my father, and my two brothers. We all thought it was funny. I didn't watch it though. They thought it was funny.
Yeah. It's hard. Let me tell you. And I don't think a lot of people don't understand with this YouTube, it could shits and giggles until you are under attack or your family. So how did your mom react to that?
I mean, I get my stoicism from both my parents. Same way how I just don't really care, brush things off. She was just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I don't really care. I mean, it's on the internet. What am I going to do about it now?"
Hmm. What makes Austin happy?
Brazil.
Well, since you're not, I'm guessing you here in the States now, right?
Here in the States, what makes me happy? Knowing that I'm about to go back to Brazil.
So when you've been to Brazil a few times, and in those times you were the happiest that you've ever been.
Yes. I cried when it was time to leave.
And it was just because of the women?
No. I mean, for one, it was cheaper.
Okay.
So I always tell people this. The the women were initially what I went over there for, but then when you get over there, you get exposed to you got a better life, a better social life with the women here, and I can live for a fifth of the cost,
Mm-hmm.
meaning I can get ahead and get rich because I can invest. I have a lot more excess income to invest. If I'm making 10 grand a month, it costs me like $5,000 a month to live in the United States right now. If I'm making 10 grand a month here and I go to Brazil, it's costing me $2,000 a month. Now I have $8,000 in excess as opposed to five. So I can get ahead.
Yeah. So what makes you happy is the idea of going back to Brazil and because of the financial gain that it would be for you going. So what are your hobbies? What do you like to do besides go to Brazil? What makes you you?
Well, Brazil is a hobby, and that takes up all the time right now because now I'm a content creator. But before I went to Brazil, I tried to find hobbies. The people here
Hmm. The people.
the people. It's just hard to find. I'm done with the United States. Yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah, meaning like hobbies. So,
yeah.
you know,
Well,
I'm a festival. I love a good festival. I love live music. I'm here in Tennessee in Nashville, so that's what we're not. So anything where I can listen to some blues, jazz. I love hip hop. I love dance. So when I get in those elements and not even worried about people, but those are my particular hobbies. So when you're at home bored, the internet is off. What is something else that also would do? Be like, you know what? I'm in my element now. Whether it's watching football or like something. What makes you you?
I would like to do a lot of things, but when I go out to these places in public, the social life sucks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've tried. It's just people, and this is known. People don't socialize like that. I did a video about social life sucks or something like that on TikTok. I put it on YouTube too, like 2 months ago. Yeah, when you go to Brazil, you realize the social life here sucks. Like I'm pretty sure it just sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucks. People suck at talking here. I go to another country and it's a completely different flip. Language barrier, well, at the time, language
Mm-hmm.
barrier and all,
Yeah.
still got a better social life. We don't even speak the same language.
What do you wish people knew about you that they didn't know?
Well, I think everybody knows everything now, but before, I wanted people to know how blunt and honest I was. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I started talking online.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like, I think I could do this. If I get on here, I can actually stand firm on what I believe in and spread this message and not care about people's feelings.
Yeah. And so in 5 years, where are you going to be?
In Brazil, and that'll be probably next month.
That's when you plan on picking up and just deucing out.
Well, I'll still have my apartment and stuff here, but
Yeah.
I'll be gone for a while, and then once the lease is up, I'll come sell all this stuff, and I'll be gone for good.
And your friends that you have here, your homeboys that you hang out with, are they wanting to go with you? Or are you just leaving they ass here? I'm out. I'll hit you up in a DM. Do they want to go?
No,
No.
no. I mean, no. It's no.
Just you?
I mean, well, you got to think about. I spent the majority of my time going out alone. If I wanted to hang out on Friday or Saturday night, I had to go out alone.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't go out alone, the people here are so flaky and inconsistent. I'd be stuck in the house. So I had to practice hanging out alone. Uh, that shit sucks. I'm tired of doing that. In
Mm-hmm.
Brazil, I have a lot. I have more friends in Brazil than I do here.
Hmm. I'm going to get to some of the super chats. Do you want to take some calls? Are you in the mood? I want to be respectful of your time as well.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let me get to some of the super chats. I appreciate you guys for sticking in there with us. Let's see what we got here. What is going on, John? I have banged out pros since the age of 18, living in Germany legally. I feel no shame in it. Women in the U.S. want the authority of men, the privilege of women, and the accountability of a child. Jasmine, man, appreciate you again. I used to be against pros, but paying for it seems more easier than spending game or building yourself up. So I understand why some brothers pay. Kevin C, again, I appreciate you for the 75 spot. Thank you so much. Soft girl behavior needs to start at age 18 or earlier. A woman needs to keep that standard their entire lives. I concur. John, again, thank you so much. The culture in the States is toxic. I wouldn't have a family here because the women are ruined. No more chances. Dane C, I appreciate you, Dane. Soft girl era is just repackaged rest in your femininity coupled with black girl luxury and self-care. It's all the same. Hey, Courtney. Hey, Dane. Jasmine again. Facts, Courtney. I'm happy that you don't have to deal with unruly sisters anymore. You tried to help them and they disrespected you. They're going to die alone. I'm not going to agree with that. Here we go, Jasmine Man again. If you can't afford to go overseas, how will you afford a wife and kids in America? Either way, you need to get your money up. SYSBM. Do you consider yourself SYSBM? I know you say passports. Do you know or the difference between the two, and do you subscribe to SYSBM?
I haven't really looked into SYSBM too much.
Yeah. So, it's Save Yourself Black Man, which is just pretty much not necessarily just going overseas, but just the idea of going where you're wanted and where you're loved. And they too say it's not here with the American Black woman. So me and actually who coined this, we have SYCBM, Save Your Community Black Man. Shout out to Alan Obi from We Need to Talk. That's what we coined. Save your community. We also say STAB, STAB. That means steal they ass back. Black woman. Let me finish some more of these. Black community is dead. We're going overseas. SYSBM. And John, thank you again. It takes a special kind of man to go up and leave, learn a new language and culture, and speak to his purpose while others attack. Props to Austin. So I am going to go ahead and drop the link in the chat if anyone wants to come up and have any questions. We will be respectful, but this is a respectful platform, so we don't go all that out. So we'll see if anyone calls up here. So before they do that, there has been content creators that are huge in the space that has talked about you as well. One considerably would be O'Shea Duke Jackson. Are you familiar with his platform? And if you are, were you surprised to hear him make a few shows referencing you?
The first two times, yes. Then I kind of got accustomed to it. I started to hope he would, expect to hope that, he's putting out another video soon. I spoke with him though after he. Yeah.
All right. And now on my platform, we cam up people because I know I got a lot of new folks over here. So I try to cam up so we can see because we don't need anything crazy. So we got Kevin C. What is going on? Good to see you again.
What's going on?
Hey, hello to you, Courtney and Mr. Holloman. Good to see you again, sir.
Good to see you again too.
Yeah, I just came up because I wanted to just kind of point out a few things. I don't have too many questions for young Austin, but I do just I just wanted to because I know there's women that watch your platform. You have quite a bit. So one of the things I wanted to say was the fact that young men are leaving. I consider them the best and the better men of the community that are so that's an indictment on what's going on with the community, what's going on with women, and the fact that young men like him are making this decision. So I'm I think at this point a lot of people know that I'm married. I'm overseas, married to a Black woman overseas. I was married to a woman in the States. Didn't work out, unfortunately. But my kids are adults and all the other stuff and everything else. So men like me are not really the issue. I guess you can kind of say I did my time, if you want to say that. Married, produced kids, did all the right things. The marriage just didn't work out because
prisons. That's prison sentence. I did my time, the hard time.
Well, I did my service to the community. I graduated high school, went into the military. Met a nice lady, got married, fell in love, did the whole thing. Did what I was supposed to do as a young Black man. And the concern is not with guys like me. The concern is guys like him. He's young, never been married, no children. He's out here looking for other options. And I would say if you're a woman and you're trying to figure out how to get these guys to stay, then there's some things that you're going to have to do. You got to ask why is he and men like him looking at things the way that they're looking at. These guys are not stupid. They saw what they saw growing up. And I have a young son myself. 24 years old. He's not in the age range to be married. I tell him somewhere between 28 to 32 to start looking for a wife, or he needs to be married within that age range. But right now, he's doing all the things he's supposed to do. He graduated high school, went into the military. He's in trade school. He's going to, get out. He's going to graduate, get his money up. All the others, he's going to do all the right things. He's not going to make babies all over the place. He's not going to be irresponsible. He's going to be hard working, productive. He's going to be doing all the things that women say that they want. And my question would be, why aren't women really should be looking at him as a potential husband, father, all of that stuff. I know he's going to do well because I trained him myself. All right. So he's on track to do the stuff he's supposed to do. This is what guys like young Austin is doing. He's doing all the same things. He grew up, with good influence, his father and all the other stuff and everything else. So I look at it as an indictment on the community and specifically the women. And I know women don't want to hear this, but you got to start asking yourself, why are these guys not picking me? That's what you got to ask yourself, because men, we have to ask ourselves this question. If I want a specific type of woman, if I want a specific type of life, what do I need to do in order to get there? And if I want a specific type of woman for a wife, what do I need to do in order to make that happen? And that's what men are doing. So if we're going to do all of that, then we're expecting a whole lot of other stuff from you. And that, becomes, that leads into wifely duties and responsibilities and things that a wife is supposed to bring. And, it's just not happening. And again, I'm the older guy, so nobody's really concerned about me. It's when you have the best men, the better men in your group who haven't even been married yet and haven't produced children or none of that stuff, then that should be a huge, red flag and concern for all women who are out here saying that unprotected, saying that, men are not building, saying they're not, things they're not getting what it is they want out of the community. But I don't want to hold you too long because but Mr. Holloman, you're doing some good things. You're a young man. You're on point. Appreciate you, man. And the fact that you are a young guy talking to young men and kind of keeping the older guys connected to what it is you're doing. And we just pop in and we offer advice because we got guys out here doing it. So he's saying all the right things. He's talking about getting your money right, getting your mind right, looking for the right type of woman. This is, honestly going overseas and just, messing around with women, that's pretty easy. But actually finding a good, solid woman with a good, solid family that has consistent with the standards that you would look for in the United States. This idea that men are going overseas and getting these backwoods, barefooted, incompetent and unintelligent women that's not what's happening. My wife herself, she has a degree from a great university in her own country. She's got a business degree. She's doing very well. This thing that women are trying to scare men, like, oh, you're going to have to take care of the family. You know what? My wife has 4 brothers. Her parents have never asked me for a dime. They got their own wives, their own families. They take care of themselves. They've never even asked me for anything. Of course, I, give them gifts and stuff like that for Christmas and birthdays and stuff like that. But I mean, that's what all families do. But my whole point is that, if you're doing it right, you're not going to be the guy that gets suckered and schnookered and get pulled into the nonsense. But he's absolutely right. You got to get your money right. You got to have your mind right. You got to be looking for the right type of woman. You got to be doing a whole bunch of things right. Basically, whatever you would do in the United States, you got to do overseas. The difference is that you just got to figure out how to, earn, it's not just about women. That's the other thing, too. Life is not just about chasing women. Women really, we love y'all, because we need y'all if we're going to produce children and, create a legacy and all the other stuff. But you guys are a nice addition to what it is we're already doing. With or without you, we're going to be the men that we're supposed to be. We're going to be on our purpose. We're going to focus on our mission. So when we start looking for wives, or when men like him start looking for wives, and they're just going to pick you up along as they go along their life's journey. So life is not about chasing women. It's about being on your mission, whatever that is, and fulfilling your purpose and doing the right things and staying clear and free of problems and troubles and issues, and making sure that you got your money right, you got your health right, you got your finances right. You got like a whole lot of things going on that just going to make sense as what we're supposed to be doing in life as men. Yeah. So we love y'all, Courtney, but at the same time, life is not all about just chasing women and running around doing stuff.
No,
these guys,
I agree. I think when you're on your purpose and you have a mission and you're a leader and you're focused, the women is a byproduct of that, and they come. And especially a good quality woman is going to want a good man that leads and on a purpose and a mission. So I agree with you. I definitely don't think that men should focus on vagina. They need to focus
And
on. I
yeah,
agree.
and I see people trying to dissuade, Mr. Holloman and men like him,
Mm-hmm.
and and I get you, get your man back, save the community, all this
Right.
other stuff and
You
everything
know
else.
where I
That's
stand.
good stuff and it's wonderful, but in order for that to happen, I would say the women are going to have to start looking at what it is that's going on and then make those changes. And when they
Yeah.
do, then you know what? Maybe the guys will, see those changes and men will respond appropriately. Men respond to what women are doing. We're not going to. That's the other thing too. We're not going to force you or or try to pigeonhole you into something. It's either you volunteer or you're not. And so these guys are doing great things, and I support this young man and what it is he's doing. And as far as I just pop in. I listen to what they talk about in the conversations, and you know what? A lot of times they're hitting on all these major points, life points that people think that these younger guys don't have just yet. They might not have the life experience or the travel experience, but that's one of the things that he's doing. And just like he's very smart. He's literally telling women up front what he's about and what it is he's doing, and then on top of that, he's got a little ways to get to where he wants to be as far as husband, father, and all the other stuff and everything else. So he's being honest and 100% transparent. That's the right thing to do. So I really don't have a problem with what it is he's doing. If anybody should have a problem with it, it's the women. But that whole shaming thing is not going to work. Women are going to actually have to change if they want the better and the best men in their group to actually stay with them. Because there's only two things that they're going to do. They're either going to go overseas and find black women in other countries, or they're going to go outside of the race. Yeah. And we know both of those are controversial. And, women hate that, but, men aren't here to change what the women are doing. We're going to respond to the conditions that are literally presented, and they're going to come up with options, whether you like those options or not. So, hey, big up to you, sir. Big up to you, Courtney, for, bringing Mr. Holloman on and actually talk about this topic, and actually, in a lot of ways, holding women accountable because really the men can't do it. So it's nice that you and a few other women like you are actually, bringing up this topic and actually helping women out. And bringing these issues to the forefront. But thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Kevin, as always.
All right. And Mr. Holloman, good luck to you, sir. I'll pop in periodically. Okay.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work, man. Appreciate you.
Okay. I'm going to read a couple super chats and we'll take a couple more calls if that's okay with you.
All right.
Okay. And let's see, Rich Turner, what is going on, my guy? In order to save someone, they have to be willing participants in their own liberation. Shout out to my brother, Obi. What up, Alan? Dewan, I'm taking a back that, okay, I'm talking about, okay, that needs us to pay $75K. I guess he's taken aback by us needing to pay $75K to fund his trips overseas while I have 2 jobs to support myself and going through tech school. Do you want to respond?
I really don't understand that first part before the comment.
He's taken aback by you asking for the GoFundMe.
Don't pay for it.
All right. Fair enough. I just wanted to show support. I appreciate you. Uncle Luke, okay. Came to support. I see you making an impact. Austin, keep doing it. SYSBM. We out of here. Also, sorry, my Buffalo Bills had to smash your Titans, Courtney. Now I'm depressed. Hashtag Bills Mafia. I'm a Tennessee Titan fan. And $70 a haircut in Texas. I'm going to probably think this is one of your detractors. I am Colin Cap. I live in California, one of the most expensive states in the nation, and they don't charge that much.
Small-minded.
Okay. All right.
I have a website.
Yeah. No, well. KB, what is going on?
What's up, you guys?
Good. What you got for this evening?
What's up, Austin? I just wanted to come in and, show support. I ain't been on the other streams that he had recently. I missed them by a hair, but I went back and watched them and stuff. So I just wanted to come on here and support Austin with the message. I'm 26 myself. I'm going to be 27 on the 26th. And I live in Nashville, too, by the way. Hey, that's what I thought was pretty cool.
What up, neighbor?
What's going on? I knew I got that when I went. I've seen you on Zoom to Thailand. I've seen you talk with them and stuff.
Mhm.
So I was like, I got that southern. I didn't know where you was from until you had said it. Then I was like, oh, that's why you gave me that southern hospitality vibe.
I'm a Tennessean.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Your whole life, or like your whole generation, or like just you personally?
Born and raised. I lived other
Born and
places,
raised.
but Nashville is my home.
Oh yeah, the hot chicken. I see. I see. Now, the only thing that I wanted to say is I had a question for you, Courtney. When did you happen to see that video on Austin's channel where he did an interview with the American women in the mall? It was like a short, like not even like 10 minutes. It's like 11-minute video, I think.
I did not see that. Now I saw the one that he did with the woman that didn't clam up here recently. She was a browner woman. I saw that one. Them comments was brutal. But tell me about this one. I didn't get a chance to see that. Do I need to go look at that?
I say take 11 precious minutes out of your day to go look at that video. That will explain exactly why he's saying what he's saying. The first 2 minutes, the first two women he interviewed, the two light skinned ones, these ones right here are exactly why I got my passport. Hold on. That's why I got my passport right here. I already went to DR and I'm going back again. And that's why I got my passport. Because those two women were the example of why men are deciding to leave and do what they're doing, because it's like there's a lot of antisocial culture going on. Like you can't even socialize with people anymore. Like it's dangerous to go out and talk to certain people in the States because you always got to, have your head on a swivel. You don't know who's out here trying to do what. I'm not saying it's like that, like it's that much different somewhere else, but here it's amplified. It's even more serious. Like you can't even, like out here, if you talk to a woman, like just a random girl, she might mean mug you. She might be like, why are you wasting my time? Who told you to come up and talk to me, you peasant? This is the attitude that they have about you. And this is not just black women. This is women of all cultures that live here. If they were born and raised here, they have this mentality: if you're not Johnny Depp, don't come talk to me. That's crazy. What about your dads? What about your uncles? What about your grandfathers? What about all the men who built this country? So they're all beneath you because they're not superstars. This is the mentality. That's the mentality that a lot of them have. So that interview will give you a lot of insight. Just that little small clip will give you. I wish he had did another video showing how the foreign women act. When I was in DR, complete love. Even if it was like he said, even if it's false, it's the energy that they give you. It's so positive. Like I don't have to feel threatened. Like, yeah, of course I'm gonna watch out for anything crazy that could happen. But the energy, they're very direct. They don't play games. If she says she wants to meet you up, she wants to meet you up. There's no, oh, you gotta wait 10 dates before we can do anything. Like it's crazy stuff like that's stressing us younger dudes out. Like me, I didn't used to think it was like this back in the day. Like back when I had graduated high school, like, yeah, you had the little drama and stuff. But as I got older, I started to see what was going on, because I started to look outside of myself and see what people around me were going through. I'm talking about guys my age, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
And the biggest proponent here is the laws. Let's say you do get lucky enough to find the girl that you were talking about with Austin, that he should have given her a chance. Who's to say 10 years from now she don't want to play the long game and just get the divorce money, the alimony money? Because that's all she needs is 10 years. She's approved for alimony after 10 years. In some states, it's 9.
Well, I think,
and you know that right now divorce is 80%. Initiated by women? 80% right now.
Well, it's about 70%, and I think with people, the percent of men that actually give out alimony, I think is right at 3%. So it's not a big thing that men are all that are giving alimony. I do understand the why people would be nervous, especially men, as far as with marriage, because it is a risk. and you're pretty much saying I'm with you forever, and that person has to guarantee forever with you. So I understand that. But again, I look at marriage as a business. And without the love and emotion, marriage is a business, is a contract. And if you're an entrepreneur, that's also a risk that you take as well. So would you tell an entrepreneur, don't start your own business because it's a 70% chance that it fail?
Well, my thing is that you plan to involve kids in this situation where she can use the kids as bait to destroy you. My father, who's 70 something years old, in his 70s, said this: women don't put you on child support because they need the money. They put you on child support because they want to hurt you. This is words from a man who's lived 70 plus years, who's Haitian, who came from another country and came to live here.
Yeah.
And he can tell you that if they put you on child support, it's not for the money, it's to hurt you because you hurt them. It's not because of the kids.
I'm not
So
disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
it's just the fact that like for there was a guy, I was taking an Uber ride, right? He was from DR. He met his wife was from Colombia. She came to DR. And so apparently she was married prior to him, but she never got divorced. So the whole time she was with him, she was still married to the other guy because marriage over there is more complicated. But the fact is, when she was trying to divorce him, because she got married to him too, she tried to take the house that he had bought. He had two properties. He had one in DR and he had one in Colombia. She tried to take the properties, but she couldn't because of her previous marriage to the other guy.
Yeah. Well,
So,
let
so
me.
what so all I'm saying is that you have a better chance to protect yourself as a man overseas than you do here. Here, it's very unlikely you're going to be able to protect yourself, even if you do a what they call it, a prenup
Okay.
or anything like that. It's highly on you. The chances that if if I go to Brazil and I get with a girl and things don't work out, she can just we could just go our separate ways, divide the assets, whatever. We can come to an agreement. Here, that they're not going for that. They're gonna try to get whatever they can out of you if she's a good person. But I mean, if that's what you're relying on, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So here, the laws here are like, even if you meet a good girl, you don't know if she could change in the future because
Yeah.
we're not looking at up front. We're looking at 10 years from now. I'm looking at 15 years from now. We're looking at a long time. We're not looking at, oh, I'm going to be with this chick for 3, 4 years. I'm looking at, I might be with this chick for 15 years. How
Yeah.
do I know she'll be the same person that she is
Well, let me.
from here to
Yeah.
tomorrow?
Well, let me say this, and I'm going to get one more person in before we close out. So again,
Yeah.
you don't know that from anyone. So whether if I say I'm going to divest tomorrow and get with a white man, I don't know how he would be different from a black man. I genuinely believe that at its core, women's nature is women's nature, and they might be raised differently. But if you trifling, you trifling.
Hmm.
And so, even with going overseas and finding a woman, if you're wanting to be married in a relationship, you have to have some kind of level of discernment.
Yeah.
And that's just with anywhere that you go. But let me go ahead and get one more person. I appreciate you, my Nashman.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Yeah, have
Bye.
a good one.
Man.
All right, Austin, you're right. One more.
All right.
All right, and we have DeSantos. What's going on with them overalls? You from the South too?
Yeah, well, right now I'm in New Mexico for work. I work in the oil field.
Yeah. What
I'm
you
the
got?
guy. I'm the guy that went with Austin. I'm the double his age guy who's
Oh,
looking for something serious. Like
Okay. Well, what you
I
got for us, or you want to talk about your experience that you both had there, or?
no, well, my thing was is that I'm 40 years old.
Yes.
I've been married twice. I grew up watching my grandparents. They had 50-year marriage. My grandmother stayed home, took care of the family. My grandfather busted his butt at work for all that time. That's what I grew up seeing. So that's what I've always wanted. So I've tried that over and over again, looking for the person that's going to compliment me, that's going to be there for me, take care of the household. I got no problem working. I'm always going for work. In the oil field, there's no time frame when you come home. You know, I work a month and go home for 2 days and then go back out for 2 months. So this is what I've been looking for. But each time I've done it, and this is me dating here, constantly dating, looking for the Mrs. Right. And I thought I found it twice. And each time, you know, like I said, over the years, I've dated, and I've got married twice, and it's never panned out. It's never, like, in their minds, my thing is to work for them, make sure they're comfortable, and they do whatever the hell they want to do. I'm also a guy that, this is going to be controversial, I don't date black women. It's not because I'm not attracted to them. It's not because of how they are or anything like that. It's just I grew up in a very small town where all the black women I was related to. So literally, I grew up only dating Hispanic women. So it's just a preference. Now, I've dated black, had no problem with them, no issue with them, anything like that. It's just a preference for me. I just can't see myself dating a black woman. I'm not saying I'm not open to it, but it's not something that factors in my head to be like, you know what, like Austin loves black women. While we were there, we made a distinct trip to go to where the black women were because that's what he wanted. Me, I was like, hey, let's roll, let's roll, but you know, this isn't really what I'm looking for. You understand what I'm saying? It's just a personal preference. I don't hate black women, and that's something that I hear all the time. Oh, your mama's black. I'm not trying to date my. I'm not.
Right.
But there are plenty of beautiful black women. You're a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
But it's just my personal preference, and I get tore for that. When we got to Colombia, the culture difference, so where just the people, not just the women, but the people, the way they treated you, the way they acted towards you, how open they were. It's totally different. I'm from Texas. We say howdy, how you doing? You know, we speak to people as we walk by. You can't do that in the United States. You can't. You run across people, hey, how you doing? They look at you like, why are you speaking to me? I don't know you, man. Like, well, that's not something I want to do. You get over there and everybody's open. And even as you said, with the language barrier, I speak Spanish because, again, both my ex-wives are from Mexico. So I have my kids are all half Hispanic. So I speak Spanish. My in-laws only speak Spanish. So it was no problem for me to go over there. But even then, the language barrier is no problem. They're very open and they're very, what's the word I'm looking for? They want to speak to you. They want to have a conversation. They want to get to know you. Yeah, you can't get that here. I can't walk in the mall here, say in Houston. I can't walk in the mall, see a beautiful woman, black or whatever, and walk up and say, you know what, you look very nice today. You look beautiful. I just wanted to say that and walk off because I've done that before. And you get like I don't know you. Like, why are you speaking to me? Like, I'm just giving you a compliment. I was raised to, if I see something, I have no problem saying it. But then you get chewed the hell out because you just giving somebody a compliment. You get over there and you tell a woman she's beautiful and she's like, oh my God, thank you. You know, and that could be it. It doesn't have to be anything more than that. But my eyes were open going over there with them because of what I've dealt with here in the States. And I told Austin, I said, I can't do it anymore. I said, I got back here and I was like, I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to deal with them. Just from that one experience. Don't get me wrong, I went to the Dominican Republic before too. But that one experience in Colombia opened my eyes so much. After 40 years of doing what I do here and dating many women, realizing like this isn't what I want. This isn't going to work for me. I can't do this anymore. I'm the guy that wants to settle down and have a family and be comfortable and you know, take care of my whatever woman I'm with.
Yeah.
But do that here. It's damn near impossible. Literally impossible. I'm divorced now, my wife, and I put her in a 5-bedroom, 4.5-bath house, corner lot. Took in her 5 kids. She had 5 kids. I've been raising them for 9 years. I have 4 kids of my own. Taking care of all of them, working, doing all of that. and it wasn't enough. She
Well,
didn't have to work.
quick question. You said the two women that you were married, they were Mexican.
Yes.
But what you're saying is that they were from the States, or were they from Mexico?
Yes, they were originally from Mexico.
Okay. So you had the problem with Mexican women from Mexico, and they weren't Black women. So why would you say that you can't or see yourself with a Black woman when your two women that you were with that were divorced were Mexican? Wouldn't it be, or for me, I could understand that more. Like, I'm not dealing with no women from Mexico. I've married two of them, and they are bleh. So I would understand that. But what with a Black woman, you didn't marry them, but you married Mexicans. You don't have that idea about Mexican women?
No, because I explained that. I explained that from the beginning.
Okay.
Nothing against Black women. I
Right.
remember I told you I grew up with nothing but Black women around me, and I was related to all of them. It was just something. It was just the culture that I grew up in. 18 years of high school, I was related to all the Black women around me. So I never saw them as somebody dateable. It was in my head sitting like that.
Mm-hmm.
So every woman that I was attracted to was Mexican because that was what I was basically allowed to date, and that was available in the area. I never said I had anything against them. I just can't see it because of the way I grew up. I look at a Black woman and I see somebody I might be related to. That's what it is. It's not. I have nothing against Black women.
Well, now you know the stereotype. They say we all look alike, so I can't. But yeah. Well, I guess the other reason why I was saying that is that you haven't given up on Mexican women, even though you're twice divorced from a Mexican woman, but you haven't gave up on them. However, Austin up there is his mom, and then a bad relationship with a woman's. So now he's just done with it. So what I'm saying, even though it's not a Black woman, but it's a Mexican woman, you ain't gave up because of those two failed relationships. You're still out trying. And can be with another Mexican woman. So you're not jaded because of your experiences. And so
not here in the United States. Because both of the women, they were from Mexico, but they moved here early on when they were young.
Okay. So she got to be American women. Okay.
So basically American
women. I understand.
So, but my whole thing was we went overseas, we went to Colombia, and it was just the total difference. And I literally told him, I said, bro, my eyes are open. I said, I'm mad because it took me 40 years. Yeah. And, I literally have 10 kids that I take care of because we took in another kid that his parents basically abandoned him. So I've been taking care of 10 children, 6 of them that aren't mine. Actually, 7 of them because one of them that I took in as one of my 4, I've been raising since he was 2. But I've been doing all this, and regardless, I get no appreciation. They talk crazy to me. They treat me like I literally had an argument this morning about stuff over paying for glasses, and I pay $1,200 a month for one child. Mm-hmm. And I have drama from her when I help her pay her bills on top of paying child support. Everything here has me jaded about American women. And after going over there and seeing how the women act and seeing how they treat you, it's a no-brainer for me. And I'm literally in the process of working how to get a remote job.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Well, I understand you and I hear you. And I honestly think that a lot of American women are doing themselves a disservice of not listening. And even though I'm a proponent of Black love, I don't care where you get it. That's why, Austin, I'm not a detractor of you, especially when I heard that made me be like, oh, come on, Austin, love it. Oh, the Black woman. So I support that for sure. So, I mean, I can't hate on that for Black love. But I think a lot of women do themselves a disservice by not listening. And I think what you're feeling and your experiences are valid. And I want to make sure that this is a platform that you understand, that you guys know that as a Black woman, I understand and I'm listening. And I'm here to be a voice for other Black women that are like me that want to listen and want better for us to have a voice. So you can see it's a lot of others out there, and so you don't get to see the women that are working towards bettering ourselves, listening more, and being more empathetic than just trying to be defensive. So I understand. So, all right, I'm gonna get to this last super chat, and then we're gonna wrap it up. I am not gonna keep y'all here that long, but I appreciate you coming up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey,
All
bro.
right, bro.
Austin.
Yes.
This was good. I didn't know what I was going to expect from you. I just was having questions because I did want to get to know you more. And I'm glad that you took the time out to come to my platform. So I completely appreciate it. So before we head out, what do you have actually in store for the next coming up week for your page? Anything new? I know that you're going to be starting to do some disagreements with the American women. That's what you're going to start doing.
Yeah. So, this will be our third disagreement.
Okay.
The American women have proved my point
Proving it.
effortlessly. The first that was last week. I invited last Wednesday.
Mhm.
I messaged 20 American women online.
Mhm.
Only 15 of them opened the message. No, 13 of them opened the message. 2 of them left me on red. 4 of them, put it like this, 4 of them enthusiastically agreed to come. 3 of them showed up.
Mhm.
1 of them showed up. 3 of them flaked. Just flaked. Typical, expected. 1 of them showed up, and she showed up 2 hours late. So I was already pretty much like F it and started just doing a live and talking, and then she came through. I was like, oh, she actually made it. I know for sure we have 3 more enthusiastic American women. I wouldn't be surprised if none of them show up. And it's not that they're afraid; they're just flakes naturally, and they can't help it. I guess it's just part of the culture here is to get flaked on. Even just for an interview, they flake on you for that too. But
Well, I'm not going to attest to that. There is some flakiness in the people, so I could say that, but maybe they're scared to come on your page.
they
Because
seem
I saw one of them, and I was looking at the comments, and the comments brutal. Because I would come on your page if you were to ever invite me. For sure, I will. But I know that I had to prepare myself for those comments because it is brutal.
well. Any
Um,
American any American woman is invited, but we got one Asian chick.
mhm.
She is very uh, enthusiastic. I think I can pretty much bet money that she'll be there tomorrow. 2 other ones, yeah, I don't know. I can't depend on American women to do anything. I honestly don't care what their opinion is. Uh, my audience just likes it for entertaining, and it just further confirms anybody that thinks that I'm making all this up. We got it right here. I know those women don't make up the entire U.S. population, but what they do is what you're running into the majority of the time, and I don't know why people don't understand that. I'm not saying there's no good women in the United States, but you're going to spend the majority of your time running into BS. Later this week, I'll be doing some more interviews and let them make
Yeah.
a fool out of themselves. All I got to do is ask them questions, and they don't answer them right.
What? Oh, okay. Well, they might give their opinion, which might be something that you might not want to hear. But again, for me, these conversations I think are important to change. And even though you might not know, and you might be telling people to go get their passports, but I'm telling you, the women that are listening, sometimes it does have an adverse effect on it.
Well,
And
okay.
I'm hoping that that's what it is. And women are just kind of maybe opening their eyes. And for the men that are not getting passports, that want Black women that are staying in the States, my goal is to make sure those women are the best women for the men that want to be the best men for them here. So,
Well,
mhm.
damn, I forgot.
That's all right.
I forgot. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's because I'm reading the chat. That's why I keep forgetting what I'm.
Now you know, but you all in the chat. I can't chat be distracted.
I'm doing a scientific test.
A study.
Not scientific, a scientific study.
Mm-hmm.
Don't need to do it, but I'm doing it. I have an American woman that I interviewed, and I was like, you know what? She's attractive. Let me try to talk to her. Texts come through every 2 hours. She doesn't know what the hell she wants to do. I've been very blunt. I mean, not very blunt, very clear. And it's pretty much going over her head, but she's still responding, still leading on. She's not leading me on because I don't give a damn. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just I'm just further confirming with myself. And while she's doing that, I'm forgetting to respond to the other women from Colombia and Brazil because they're on top of it.
Yeah.
And the American woman, it's like flipped. So they're not serious about you guys.
Well, let me ask you a question. Did you have that experience with me?
What do you mean?
Our communication, me talking to you
Today.
You on red? Yeah. Did you, as a Black American woman, and the Black woman that you were talking to, did you have that experience with this Negro woman?
Well, I thought you were a hater at first. So I wasn't.
Jeez.
I wasn't really looking to see if you read my messages or not. That's whenever I called,
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were a critic, so I didn't really care if you responded or not.
Well, I'm not. Well, like I told you before, it's the goal is for the men here to be treated well by Black women. So I'm not saying get your passports. I'm saying save your community, Black men, and steal they Black ass back. So that's what I'm saying. So, anyways, any last words before I close out, darling?
Make sure you stay tuned for there'll be a lot of American women content this week. I tried to get somebody to call into the show today, and like I said earlier, she was rude about rejecting me for the show. I didn't ask her for a number. I asked her if she called into the show, and she was rude about that. So that doesn't happen overseas. But you know the solution. Get your passport. It's that bad. I'm not making none of this up.
Okay, just the few of the super chats that just came in. I appreciate you guys not only listening but also not changing. I got you. Hi, Courtney. You've had debates with OG Richie Mack, and Austin's message resonates with a lot of men. Can Black love flourish in times of strife? And yes, it can. And I think it's the times of strife where it really shows what love really is. It's action, it's not how you feel. So the goal is for the women that love Black men is to actually show by action and not just words. So, all right. Well, Austin, it has been an absolute pleasure. And like I said, I'm open if whatever you need, or if I need you to pop up here, I'm going to call you. Okay. And I'm not a detractor, but I don't agree with everything that you're saying. But I understand. For sure. So,
I appreciate it.
all right.
I'm glad you had me here as well. Somebody said that you have to tag their IGs as well to get on the show. That doesn't work either. Matter of fact, the first two chicks on the first video in the mall, they didn't even want their IGs. They said they didn't want a shout out. So
No.
yeah, it's that bad.
Well, I could probably, if you need some women to come up that's American here, I got you. I'll send some your way. I got a few that I'm thinking about right now.
Just make sure they don't flake.
They won't flake. If I'm backing them, then I wouldn't send you anyone that'll flake. So I got you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. We'll be chit-chatting. Thank you so much.
All right.
Well, that was another great one. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It was a good conversation. The goal was to get to know him a little bit more, and I appreciate Austin for opening up, particularly about his family. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, you guys already know my stance. I understand the passport bros. I understand the hashtag is that bad. Like, I get it. But I also get that everyone can't go overseas. And I also get that the men here still want to get married and deserves a good woman. And the women that are here that want a good man needs to have a voice as well. So it's Black love over here. It's B1 all day over here. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Austin, for coming up. I know it was kind of like a quick turnaround, but you were awesome. So I appreciate your time. And you guys, as always, thank you. Until next time, be a blessing, you guys. And yeah, the kid is out. Thanks.